Aluminum Spork.
Aluminum Spork. What is up, everybody? Welcome. It's Monday night. It is Aluminum Spork night. We talk theories. We talk conspiracies. We talk ancient history. We just talk, people. I'm Scott. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, hit like, comment in the chat with all these fine folks. If you're watching this later, share it out. Be a friend. So what's going on, everybody? We are going to be talking about the moon tonight. Okay? I might be a little scatterbrained because there were so many different things on the moon. Mostly theories on the moon landing. I mean, that's like one of the biggest ones. Yeah, you got the hollow moon and spaceship moon are huge. But like the one, I'm not saying again, this is for entertainment value. I am not a lunatic, but I can't blame someone if they believe some of these theories. You know, people have really broken apart the moon landing to a point where there's a part of me that believes, yeah, we probably made it to the moon only 6 times ever in the history of man, and then stopped and never went back. And now we said we lost the technology. Someone threw out, like there was a flood and they lost the paperwork because they never took the paperwork and put it into computers. Oh, wow. We can't figure out how to get past the belt. You know, the one I'm talking about. I can't remember the guy's name. Van Allen belt. I think it's called. Yeah. The amount of radiation that people go through. We've only been like 400 miles or less since the last moon expedition. I do believe, though, that some of the footage we received for Apollo 11 was things they may have produced prior. Training footage, things like that they just doctored because of film quality and things of that nature. But there are a few that we'll take a look at tonight that literally look like dudes bouncing on trampolines, being pulled up by strings. It's pretty crazy. So we'll take a look at that, guys. But let's first say hello to who's in the chat. We got 19 people right now. We have Tina. She had to head out to bed, but she says have a great stream on the next one. Emotionally unstable amphibia. How you doing, my friend? Hale. Eric K, of course, is here. He is a Sporkmotic. Love you, buddy. Keely Chow up in the house. Roll Tide. She wants people to know. Low spec Linux laptop. Always popping in. Thank you very much. Gap Stargate, that threw me another article that Ezra Miller might have had a third 12-year-old. We'll talk about that probably Wednesday and Saturday. Oh, good. Nerdrotic did end. So he should have sent everybody over here. If not, message him. Thank you for being here, Pot Roast Station. We also have Pope. Pope, good dude. Awesome dude. Good guy to see a movie with. Small Time Republic is in the house. Sean is in the house. Marks 47 is in the house. Lumina is the original name for that element. Go figure. I did not know that. You learn new things. Awesome One is here. Hail Scott. We also have that just jumped on me. A Pope with a 6-month member at Hot Pie. Psst, this guy believes in the moon. Yeah, it could be a hologram. We don't know. But can I say something? The distance the moon is between us is a lot closer than something that big should be. The size of the moon is 400 times smaller than the sun, but at the perfect distance to have a solar eclipse. The shape of the moon is, you look at any other moon caught by a planet in this solar system, which none other have one, even though they are saying there might be one like rock that they consider a satellite now that they may have found. Might be the Black Knight satellite. I don't know. But we're the only one as of now that has one. And it rang like a bell. That's a big one to me. It is hollow, most likely. If you look at the different impact craters of the moon, and I'm jumping ahead, I know. But if you look at the different sizes, the width, Some of them look massive, but yet they're all the same depth. Quinkydink? I don't know. Let's see if anybody else is here. Parrothead, I just saw you. Still harder, Sporking. Godzillionaire is in the house. Brutal Morningwood, thank you, my friend. Always good to see you. The moon's pronouns are Soleil Moon Fry. The cheese factor. I like that. Hello, how are you? Jake D, or Jack D, which I used to always say. Great. One of my oldest channel members and also a YouTuber in his own right, so check him out. Clay Thomason is in the house. Is it Green Lion? It wasn't caught, though scientists say. It wasn't caught. Yeah, so they haven't proved what has happened. Was it caught? Was it the impact and then it broke apart and then that formed into the moon? They have a lot of different ones. Thank you for being on Twitch. Yes, we do. We do have a Twitch channel. I think I have like 150 something subs. Ruben's in the house. The moon was much closer to the earth. It's moving away. So the eclipse is rare, but not special. In the solar system, it is. There is no other planet that has a moon that can completely block out the sun. That's what I'm saying. There is a lot of lore also, which we're going to start with. Thank you for being here, Ruben. You're a good dude. We are going to start with, ancient cultures. A lot of the times they talk, they make up lore for things that happened in nature that they can't understand. Lightning was Thor or Zeus or, things of that nature. But when it comes to the moon, there's some interesting facts on it, and my children are here, so I have to say goodnight. I am sorry. I have nobody else on to talk to you, so please hold for a second. Good night, kiddos. Good night. You gotta go to bed.
Greetings,
thanks for jumping
Chad.
in. I am going to jump out for a second.
You're right, buddy. So the moon, very interesting topic. I'm not too sure personally. I'm not as much of a, not going to use the word conspiracy theorist as our good friend Sporking is here, but the moon to me, I think it was put there by some sort of alien species. That's my opinion. I'm not as tinfoiled as my as the host of this show, but the fact that it's the exact distance, I think that's just a cool coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Mathematically, the way with everything with the moon, the 1/6 gravity, the size, the distance from the sun, the shape, what it may be hollow. It's mathematically almost impossible that it was put there or naturally formed in any way. And in 1970, there was actually 2 Russian scientists that put out a paper, an actual research paper. These were actual credited scientists that were putting their, careers on the line, saying that it's more likely it was an alien satellite put in place than a natural occurring object, which is nuts.
but then they both accidentally fell down an elevator shaft and landed on 8 bullets. So
it's crazy. Yeah. They must have known the Clintons. Sporking News Podcast member for 8 months is Mr. Grant Gregory. Thank you for being a member. He says, moon is cheese. Deal with it. Green cheese, that is. Green cheese.
Well, yeah, that's because the vacuum of space, it can't decay properly, so it's changed color. Yeah, if there was more bacteria on the moon, it would decay, but that's why it's just like a big bead of parmesan at the moment. Very salty.
Very salty. So I'm going to bring up a website right now that is pretty interesting, and I'll have to go back up first to see who actually wrote this. But the piece is called "A Time Before the Moon." It is from the website Michail Tellinger. So I guess this is from Michail Tellinger. But he lists some of the people that talk about a time before the moon. So many ancient people spoke about a time before the moon was in the sky. You got Aristotle, Democritus, and Anaxagoras. I am terrible. Apollonius of Rhodes. Hippotopoulos?
No, Hippotopotus.
Yes. Hippolytus and more.
He also invented rap.
Yes. No, the moon is not what we see, that a hologram hides the true body behind it. What is he saying? Now that we know, I have no clue what he means by that. Now that we know the moon is not what we see, that a hologram hides the true body behind it, is becoming critical to question what the moon really is. Wow, this guy believes a hologram is. Okay, we're going to skip that part.
Well, okay,
but that's
this is the
interesting.
thing. If it's a hologram, so it has to be a physical thing that it's being touched, that the hologram's being projected onto. Assuming, I mean, we're using real world logic when it comes to a giant projector. Is it projecting from Earth or somewhere out? Somewhere
There's something behind it. He's saying maybe a ship
or a dome.
He must have this must be like an ongoing blog of his maybe. I should have read more. I skimmed this, but we're going to read because this is interesting. And when did the moon appear in the sky? Here are some references and video of the famous lunar wave from Crow 777 that clearly show that the moon is some kind of hologram. We are going to have to find that because I don't know where that is. Is that in here? Oh, it's right there. Cool. All right. But I want to go on to the people. The period when the Earth was moonless is probably the most remote recollection of mankind. So Democritus and Anaxagoras taught that there was a time when the Earth was without the moon. Aristotle wrote that Arcadia in Greece, before being inhabited by the Hellenists, had a population of Pelasgians. Wow. And that these Aborigines occupied the land already before there was a moon in the sky above the Earth. For this reason, they were called Proselians.
They're like New Zealanders, but they're more pro.
Yes,
So, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Apollonius. I wonder if that's where we got the, not the Greek god Apollo, but Apollonius of Rhodes, mentioned the time when not all the orbits were yet in the heavens, before the Daenia and Decalinos races came into existence, and only the Arcadians, once again, the Arcadians lived, of whom it is said that they dwelled on mountains and fed on acorns before there was a moon.
God, that sounds so boring.
Right? Just
No
eating
wonder they
acorns?
invented the moon. Just sitting there on a mountain eating acorns.
Yeah, these Greeks were weird. That's why they probably just liked dudes and each other and stuff.
Well, when in Rome.
Do you like the Greeks?
Get in Rome.
Well, talking about a Roman, we have Plutarch wrote that Roman question. There were Arcadians. God, these Arcadians are very famous. Of Evanders following the so-called pre-lunar peoples. Similarly wrote, this other person, Ovid, the Arcadians are said to have possessed their land before the birth of Jove, and the folk is older than the moon. Hippodopoulos referred to the legend of the Arcadian. Okay, so we're getting all these people are Arcadians. There is a lot of cultures that believe that the Arcadians were here before the moon. There are also in Job 25:5 of the Lord who makes peace in the heights is praised, and the time is mentioned before there was a moon and it did not shine. Also in Psalm 72:5 it is said, "Thou wast feared since the time of the sun and before the time of the moon, a generation of generations." So that means a very long time ago.
See, I always took that meaning the time of the moons is in the time before they measured months, before they actually had time, because everything was measured by moon cycles.
Right,
So that's how I always took it. It was the time before. It's lost time.
It's
in other
lost
words.
time. Okay, the ancient times, the times before recorded time. You're saying,
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
interesting.
that's when I look at that. That's how I interpret what that means.
But he's saying before there was a moon and it did not shine. Okay, if you left out the did not shine part, I would go with what you're saying. But it wasn't even out there.
Okay,
So-
if it wasn't out there, then obviously there's nothing for it to shine.
Yes.
It's, yeah, but saying so at one point there was a moon there that didn't shine.
No, nothing there was to shine.
Okay.
The sun just it just was a dull light in the sky. I don't know.
Yeah, but even if it hit it, it would technically still be shining because
That's true.
yeah.
But it didn't hit it because it wasn't there. They're saying, okay, so there was one I can't find it again. I don't know what happened to it, but there was one Native American, I believe, South American tribe that had a story of a goddess going around and asking people about like, how, when were you born? Oh, today. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear when your father died. When did that happen? Today, because there was only the sun and they knew nothing of time, kind of going with what you're saying. And then the moon was brought into the sky so that they could see the passing of time. So a lot that kind of goes with what you're saying. There's these cultures that use the moon as a reference of time.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's essentially a lot of our modern world now uses references to do with the moon as well.
Yeah.
Especially like with the months.
Yep.
A lady cycle is called her moon cycle in certain
her moon
cultures.
cycle. Yep. Yep. I mean, lunatics are named after the Roman goddess.
Yep.
Well,
when there was a full moon, people thought it was getting closer, so they panicked.
Right. Well, there are still doctors that will not say that full moons do not cause something to happen with our chemical makeup. Because we are mostly water, they believe that it can't. Because I know I worked in rehabs and stuff, and on a full moon, you got more crazy shit that ever happened anywhere and any other time of the month. So is there something about the full moon? I am not one to say science has proven it not. And I'm not that smart anyways.
Like, okay, with the whole thing about the moon, I had this theory, which I put into a story a few years back, that trying to incorporate real world science and different things with biblical texts of different things. And in one part of the story, I had the reason that I know exactly when the moon came in. It was the 40 floods, the Noah's Ark and everything. The moon was put into place then, but it still wasn't in the right spot. Hence, that was the reason why the world was flooding. It was pulling all the water to it. And as it was finding its orbit, it took 40 days for that sort of thing to happen.
Okay.
Any sort of naturalized phenomenon or anything like that can be put down to a pseudoscience or something like that, like my story with the moon.
Yeah.
So I can understand a lot of cultures living around the idea that the moon is a god, essentially.
Oh, of course.
I
mean, a heavenly body that close, it must be something.
To put it in perspective, we've been enlightened to an age thousands of years since then, yet there are still more people now that believe that the moon is not real than it was back then.
Right. I think the age of the internet and access to technology like that has, I'm not saying caused people to be dumb, but it makes people could give you a good argument. And I went down this rabbit hole and I was like, oh my God, there was a time before the moon. Like who's to tell me the moon has been there for 4.5 billion years? Oh, I don't know, science. But these
but
people
then it's always the question, how do they really know?
Right, because there's people there is no evidence to suggest whether the moon was a planet, a satellite, another planet, a comet at a time captured by the Earth. Like there's so many scientists that have different hypotheses, but that's all we have are a hypothesis. No one could say 100% this is how the moon came into being. And that's where the Russians come in. Like, yes, it sounds crazy, but these scientists were like, if you mathematically look at it, it is more likely that an alien, like a million years ahead of us, alien species put the moon into place to control the weather, slow down the turning of the Earth, to make it habitable for life form to be created on this Earth, to grow, not to be destroyed by weather. And I mean, the weather would be insane if we didn't have the moon.
Yeah, it's like putting on a lamp over a petri dish to make sure that it's temperature controlled, and or putting on it like it could be a cosmic version of, as I said, I still believe that we're some sort of a little experiment or something that's just we're the fungal in the back corner of the room that's going to get checked up on later.
Right.
And I think like the heavenly bodies and everything, that's just the thing to make us grow.
Right. Well, let me put it this way. I do believe in a lost ancient history. I believe that pre the Younger Dryas, pre that destruction that happened during there, where you heat up, cool down, heat up, cool down. And the rising and lowering of the seas. That's where we get our great flood. Every culture, almost every culture on the earth has it. It's like almost like a lost folklore is our lost history. Well, many, many, many cultures from around the world have a time before when there was no moon. I am not saying that ever happened, but it is one of those folklores that isn't regional. It's global. And that makes you wonder, if it's global, how did that come into being where so many different cultures believe that the moon was brought into play and during mankind's life? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it's base point. We're all people, and
Right.
even though we're from different things, there's fundamental things that we're all essentially the same. We're just living in different spots. So I can understand how we could all come to basically the same sort of conclusion.
Right.
But around the same sort of time that's the funny thing, because it always seems to be around the same time when people are talking about it. Is that because that's when people started first recording their history, instead of it just being passed down through vocal?
Yeah.
Who knows? But I think it's a fun discussion
Right.
on it, because I don't think that we need to realistically know, because if we knew for certain that the moon was a projection, I think that opens up much more scarier questions.
Can I tell you, I didn't even get into that rabbit hole. Now I want to look into that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at the different, the moon is a hollow spaceship. The moon is a satellite put into place, but isn't like for observation. It was just to, species throughout the galaxy. It's so hard in the universe to be able to form life that when they find some place that just needs a little tweaking, they do it. Like, I can understand that too.
Well,
but the hologram, I got to look into that one.
The hologram, I first heard about it was when I was trying to figure out whether I was real or not, or a paid actor on this flat Earth that we live on.
Right.
Because that was what they were all saying. So,
right.
And that was when I first heard about it. It was a projection. Some of the theories are like, it's the reflection from the light on the outside hitting down. Some say it's just something that's essentially like painted on the dome that rotates around. There's so many different theories.
That's crazy.
Give me a second, buddy.
Now, take your time. There are some interesting facts with the moon. Sometimes when you people look at the moon, and it's been recorded throughout history, brighter spots in dark areas, and they can't figure out what that is. If it's left over like gas from when the moon had flowing lava that's escaping, and the sun's rays will make it look like a bluish yellow, causing it to glow. I don't know. There's just so many interesting things with the moon. We are going to go into mostly talk about, because I kind of think it goes hand in hand, the falsifying of the moon landing and the spaceship moon. So Vasin and oh God, what are with the names tonight, people? Shkurbakov. Yeah, sure.
Bless you.
Yes, thank you. Michail Vasin and Alexander Shkurbakov of the Soviet Academy of Science advanced a hypothesis that the moon is a spaceship created by unknown being in their article, which was entitled, "Is the Moon Creation of Alien Intelligence?" and was published in Sputnik, which is like the equivalent of the Reader's Digest in Soviet Russia at the time.
But much more angry sounding.
Yes, much more. But they go on. Their hypothesis relies heavily on the suggestion that the large lunar craters, which I already brought up, generally assumed to be formed from meteor impacts, are generally too shallow and have flat or even convex bottoms. They hypothesized that small meteors are making a cup-shaped depression in the rocky surface of the moon, while larger meteors are drilling through a rocky layer and hitting an armored hull underneath. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. The authors reference earlier speculation by astrophysicist. I'm having a problem speaking tonight, people. Losif Shklovsky, who suggests.
Sorry, is there an article that you've got that you can put up that you're reading from, or
I can't. I will. I try.
Okay, yeah.
I will. This one comes from the wiki because all the articles pretty much say the same thing as this. So hold on one second.
Hey, we're not above reading wiki pages.
Oh God, I'll rip it off all day, people. So right here, the authors refer to reference earlier speculation by astrophysicist Losif Shklovsky. That guy, you know him.
Yosef.
Yeah, Yosef. Yeah, you're right. It's Yosef. I'm sorry. My bad. Can you try that last name?
Shklovsky.
Yeah, that sounds great. Who suggested that the Martian moon Phobos was an artificial satellite and hollow. This has since been shown not to be the case. Okay. Skeptical author
Wait,
Jason.
We've been to Phobos?
I don't remember us going there. Is Phobos the one that has like that mountain range that goes completely the circumference of the moon?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I haven't actually been there. So
yeah,
I'm
been a while for
not
me.
entirely sure. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Jennifer Cisco has fixed up the name for us. There we go.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, there we go.
See. Yes, that is it. Why? Thank you very much. Yes, it is a moon of Mars. Thank you for that. So author Jason Colvito points out that all of their evidence is circumstantial and that in the 1960s, the atheist, right? Soviet Union. Atheistic. Thank you. Soviet Union promoted the ancient astronaut concept in an attempt to undermine the West's faith in religion. How dare they? How dare they? But in 1965, author Isaac Asimov observed what makes a total eclipse so remarkable is the sheer astronomical accident that the moon fits so snugly over the sun. I love snugly. The moon is just large enough to cover the sun completely at times so that temporarily night falls and the stars spring out. The sun's greater distance makes up for its greater size, and the result is that the moon and the sun appear to be the equal in the sky. There is no astronomical reason why the moon and sun should fit so well. It is the sheerest of coincidence, and only the Earth among all the planets in the blessed is blessed in this fashion. Coincidence?
Well, yeah, probably.
That's a crazy coincidence.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. If it wasn't the way that it was and the tides and everything, we wouldn't be here to be able to say, oh, that's a coincidence.
That's true.
So, like, if we were out of, what did you call it, the Van Halen belt? You know, if we were in a different sweet spot, we wouldn't be here. So, I mean, it's a coincidence because of us, essentially.
Right.
Otherwise, like, yeah, I don't know about the mathematics of it all when it comes to the viewpoint and everything. And how do they know exactly when it comes to other planets?
Right.
That no other moon or satellite.
Well, you know what they say right here, that since then, Saturn's moon Prometheus. Oh, come on, Prometheus has roughly the same angular diameter as the sun when viewed from Saturn. When were we on Saturn? Do we even have a rover on Saturn? Lies, people. They're trying to trick you.
Well, can we even land on Saturn? I thought it was gaseous.
It's not cool. Jupiter's pretty damn gassy. I know that much.
I mean, they have tornadoes 3 times the size of Earth, so yeah.
Pretty badass. You know why? They don't have a perfect moon like we do.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. That is what it is. I mean, we have astronaut Edgar Mitchell who claims that aliens are real. Edgar Mitchell, people. Have you ever met the guy? Let's talk about him.
Oh, Edgar Mitchell. I thought you said Edgar. I was like, that's
dude,
a cool
I can't
name.
speak tonight. Ever since those words, I'm tongue tied. Yeah, I wrote his name wrong. That's right. Who cares? No, I didn't. It's just there he is. All right. There is a. Yeah. That's him right there. Boom.
Oh, that's right. Yes, he's the guy that got shot and died from COVID.
Yes,
6
yes,
years, yeah.
you know him. Yeah, before COVID.
Before it was a thing, yeah.
So he was on Apollo. He was the pilot for Apollo 14. Spent 9 hours working on the lunar surface. And he also believes and tells us that aliens are real. Post NASA career. Let's look at that. Mitchell's interest includes consciousness and paranormal phenomenon. On his way back to Earth during Apollo 11 flight, he had a powerful... What the frig?
Yeah, you can say it.
Oh, my God. What is that language? Savikalap Samadahi experience?
Yeah, I mean, you haven't had one of those?
I mean, lately, I got to make sure I really know what that is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like a yoga thing. Who hasn't? Is the 8th limb of the Yoga Sutras. You know that Yoga Sutras? Come on, people.
No, I only know the distant cousin Karma Sutra. So
Oh,
yeah,
good friend.
Yeah.
He also conducted
Great
private ESP experiments with his friends on Earth. They were published in the 1971 Journal of Parapsychology, which is their number 4 best-selling journal of that year. He retired from NASA and the U.S. Navy with the rank of captain in 1972. He founded Edgar D. Mitchell and Associates of Monterey, California, a commercial organization promoting ecologically pure products and services designed to alleviate planetary problems. Dude, this guy was green before green was green.
yeah. I think this is because I just saw his with the Institute of Nordic Sciences. I think this is the same guy. There was another bloke who was talking about stuff. They worked together on the Stargate project.
Yeah.
And yeah, he also believes 100% that the reason why we don't go to the moon is because there's something there, and there's like a pact or a deal or something, or basically out of fear. You know, we're not fucking with the moon. We don't really know what's there, but whatever happened there, we're just like, nope.
Yeah.
And it's also weird that there's only one side of the moon that really faces us too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, which is crazy. It doesn't have any... We never see the... I mean, there is a dark side of the moon. But
not
China,
a dark of the moon. That movie does not exist.
But why haven't we shown the American people? And don't give me, oh, it's because there's no light on that side. Like, come on. We could do special images of some sort. I don't give a crap. Shine a light. I mean, have you seen flashlights nowadays? They're crazy. I could light up my whole backyard with one of those things. I think NASA could come up with something better.
Well, most of their photography isn't actually done with traditional things. It's because normal film and everything won't be able to get through the Van Halen belt. Yeah. I'm never going to not call it that. I can't even remember what it's called now, but it's the Van Halen belt.
It is always going to be the Van Halen belt. I like that.
It just makes you want to jump. But the biggest thing is like when they take their photos, they're using infrared and they're using different things, and then it's reinterpreted back on Earth what those photos are. It's so there's easy ways to be able to film something in a pitch black room. We already do it now, so there's no reason why. Like the Xbox Kinect lights up your whole room with infrared.
Right.
And
right.
So
the Van Halen belt. Thank you.
Yeah. So we're saying the same thing.
And we know the dark side of the moon's not dark. We get that. It's just dark because we can't see it from Earth. We get that.
No, it's going through a phase. It's just a little bit. It's the emo side of the moon.
Yeah, or like what was before emo? Goth.
The
goth phase. Yeah. Half the time we are joking, people. I know that there is light on that side. We call it dark because we never see that side of it, but yet we have not taken pictures of it too. Low spec Linux laptop. Thank you for that. What we have seen is China. We're going to be talking about China later. They flew an unmanned satellite around the moon, took pictures of the dark side of the moon, and never put them out there again. Like they looked at them, they were going to post them for the people to see. And you know, China, they're so open and honest with everybody. And they didn't do what they said they were going to do. Crazy, huh?
And on a completely unrelated note, they built a ground laser that can reach the moon.
Yes.
A completely unrelated thing.
Unrelated. Yes. and we love to see CP. So Mitchell publicly expressed his opinion that he was 90% sure that many of the thousands of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, now called UAPs, recorded since the 40s belonged to visitors from other planets. That was on Dateline interview in 96, during which he discussed meeting with officials from 3 countries who claimed to have had personal encounters with extraterrestrials. He offered his opinion that the evidence for such alien contact was very strong and classified by governments. That's crazy. Dude, what bothers me is this. Some of the smartest people have come out. Some high-ranking officials have come out and said aliens are real. It's just real. I mean, if you really sit back and think, are we alone in the universe? There's no possible way. There's no mathematical possible way that we are alone.
There is 2 possibilities, and it's the 2 possibilities that neither of side that thinks about it wants to believe in. Either we're the first. Mm-hmm. We're the first species and all aliens will derive from us, or we're their last. Yeah. That's the reason why we've had no contact.
Right.
Because there is nothing out there, because it's everything that's ever existed has happened, and we're at the credits of, you know, the universe.
Yeah. We can't be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, like the cool part, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that, you know, that second act slumped, but you know, the triumphant part at near the beginning of the third act.
He just found the girl again. You know?
Yeah, he just picked up Mjolnir for the first, you know, that cool part. Yeah.
Yeah, like he got the confidence and he said, "She ain't going home with you, bro." And it was like dun dun dun.
And then he punches a bully. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta punch a bully.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We should watch that. So he offered his opinion. There was a cover up. Roswell actually did happen. I believe he said that one of the aliens survived. He also,
was he stating that the aliens were from the moon?
No. This is something completely different. But he went to the moon, so I felt like it had something to do. You know, come on.
Yeah. No, I know he's had a lot of different theories, and the fact of the matter is, I know he had a confrontation with Bush either when he was president or when he was...
No, when Bush was the CIA director.
Yeah. And I know I can't remember whose book it was. It was one of the guys who apparently... He was the guy that blew the lid on the Area 51 stuff.
Right.
And he worked alongside this guy at Project Stargate. And he said, yeah, as soon as they were doing things... the hammer from the top, not their superiors,
right.
From the very top, come straight down and put a stop to whatever they were doing.
Right. Come on.
So, and it was to do with stuff to do with the moon and to do with alien life.
I mean, it is look, to say that we're not alone, which I was saying before, we're not alone in the universe. It's mathematically impossible that we're alone in the universe.
Yes, Bob Lazar, that's who I was talking about.
Bob Lazar. Dude, dig that guy. He has never changed his story. He's not really made any money off that story. It's actually ruined his life. There's people that will swear, you know, they deleted him from going from his college, from being at, not Area 51. It was,
the equivalent of the actual the proper Area 51, not the show pony version. Yeah.
Right. But there was also a lab that he worked for too. And they wiped him from the records of both.
Yeah. And they said he was never there, and he's like, I've got group photos. I've got that.
He's
and then
in the yearbook.
Yeah, he's in the yearbook, but all their photos they've got. It's like they got Stalin in there to erase him because he's in none of them.
Right. It's pretty crazy. Like that dude. If there was one person to believe, that's the guy to believe. Well, yeah, I mean, same every time.
That's the thing. His story hasn't changed, But let's just say he's said 10 things ever since he's left. 8 of those things have now been proven true.
Right.
You know, he was talking about the
he found element.
the not 234, bloody
No, element
the Russian
115?
element. Yeah.
Wait a minute, let me look that up. Hold on real quick. That's why I love about this show. It can go anywhere, people. Bob Lazar. My wife just laughed at me. Bob Lazar. She's like,
I find it weird that Gap Stargate turns up when we're talking about the Stargate project. Yeah.
Coincidence? I think not, people.
I mean, he was here earlier, but he's also here now. So
right, it is element 115. I'm good, dude. I am good.
115.
Yeah, element 115. It's right here. Let me blow this up a little bit. I almost X'd out of everything.
Don't blow up element 115. It's very powerful.
Yeah. It's the infamous alien element mentioned by Bob Lazar over a decade ago. It was more than a decade ago. This must be a little bit older. Is added to periodic table with atomic numbers 113, 115, 117, and 118. The International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. You know the IUPAC, or IUPAC,
Yeah,
we call it?
IUPAC. He's my favorite European rapper.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Really cool beats. Announced the addition of these 4 elements. Element 115 was already announced in 89. So this was when?
Well, apparently reckons in February this year. So
yeah, was it this year?
So you're looking at 30 plus years.
Yeah, 30 plus years. But whistleblower Bob Lazar revealed the public the UFOs possessed by the government were powered by a mysterious element 115. Of course, at the time, the claims made by Lazar were tagged as absurd, because that's what you do. When you don't agree with someone, you call them a nutbag. You call them crazy. Had no knowledge of an element 115. In 2003, his statements gained more credibility when a group of Russian scientists managed to create the elusive element, and now, 12 years after that, achieved the discovery of element 115, was finally confirmed after numerous tests which verify its existence. However, the scientific version of element 115 drastically differs from what Lazar has described over years ago.
It has the dumbest actual name, too.
Yeah.
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium. That is awesome. It's extremely radioactive, so to me, that's something you could use. Its most stable known isotope, unobtainium-289, you know that one, has a half-life of only 220 milliseconds. Okay, not fuel efficient, not a hybrid, but, not bad. In 2014, Lazar was interviewed by George Knapp, where they discussed element 115, where Lazar dismissed earlier findings surrounding it, stating that he was confident that further testing will produce an isotope from the element which will match his initial description. Like, the guy doesn't break. That's what kills me, man. He already knew it was radioactive. He already knew that if they stabilize an isotope from it, it might be the solution to energy, like fuel, which is insane to me, man. So it will match. He said they made just a few atoms. We'll see what other isotopes they come up with. One of them or more will be stable, and it will have the exact properties that I said. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's the whole... The fact that this guy was being considered a kook for so long, and that he avoided going on shows and did everything, and he became a recluse out of his own safety, and then years later came back to just to remind people, this is what I was saying back then. Had all the proof. Story didn't waver. Talking about even the amount of footsteps that he remembers, going on and looking, and different things that he was seeing, and how the government was extremely segmented. For each different department didn't know what was going on, and that was unheard of back then. It was all these scientists know what's going on in this lab, working together, but each of them had their own individual thing. They didn't even really know their names, and then when you find out...
They were all working on different parts,
different
not knowing what the other ones are doing.
Yeah, because
which
that was all...
sounds smart.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like something the government would do.
Totally. They did that with the Manhattan Project. Different scientists, only a few of the scientists, the very core of them, Oppenheimer and those people, They were the only ones that knew what was being put together, but different groups worked on different things. Memes is in the chat. He knows all this shit.
Yeah.
He's a smart bloke.
He's very smart. I just wish he wasn't so buff, so I could have one thing over on him.
Right. Yeah, right. If you want a lot of people pissed at you, discover a way to have really cheap fuel. You'll have more enemies than Epstein, right? I mean, there's a lot of conspiracies out there that when people, the first electric car was 100 years ago, the first water, hydrogen. What's that?
I was saying goodbye to Red Shirt.
Oh, later, Red Shirt. Love you, man. Thank you for being here. The first hydrogen, I don't know if that would be combustible engine, but a hydrogen engine in the 80s, the guy disappeared before he can, actually give it to the people. Like
the guy recently, the ex security guard who got a working prototype of a water car was one of the guys that was killed in that shooting recently.
Right. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, let's put it this way. If you think it's above the mega rich to want to stay mega rich by any means necessary, you're nuts. You're nuts. And if you think I'm a quack for thinking that, look at history, man. Even if they destroy your reputation, or it might not just be taking your life, your reputation, your everything, your life in general. Maybe they don't kill you physically, but they destroy everything else. I mean, take the Rockefellers, take the Carnegies. They destroyed anyone that got in their way. If they couldn't buy them out, they destroyed them.
Which, additional, we have no problem with. We like you.
What's that?
Nothing, like just doing our appeasement to our our people watching, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you should be in charge.
Yeah. I'm not saying,
right? Yes. We love the mega rich. Support us. I'll talk look, I'll sell out. Next time you see me, I'm in an actual studio that I own. I'll say whatever you guys want me. I'll be, anchorman. I'll read what's on the prompter. Don't worry. Until then, the Spork will fight.
The Spork has many prongs. One of them is a sellout.
One's a sellout. I mean, it is a spoon. I'll dish it out. It out. But if they don't want me to dish it, I'll stab with that fork portion of the Spork.
Yes, oil is awesome.
Oil is amazing. I mean,
it's made of dead dinosaurs. Of course
yes.
We love it.
Why else would it be awesome? It's like people who believe if we move to all electric automobiles, that once the oil man goes extinct, that electricity won't be outrageously priced is nuts.
Yeah, like, I mean, the whole idea of, the starters, it's practically impossible trying to get all the, just the cobalt to begin with for all the batteries. Like, if you monopolize something, do you not think people are going to go, let's just raise it by 1 or 2? No, they're going to double the price. Look what that jerk did when he got the tuberculosis cure and he had all that. It went from being $6 to 500 and something. Like 10,000 times the price, and it's completely legal. Right.
And I am not. Look, I'm not saying don't trust people highly productive. Like, there's a lot of great people out there, but Steve Jobs was a dick. He would have done anything and he pulled anything to get back into the limelight. I don't know. Microsoft, sell, destroy, didn't matter. Buy or destroy. They took over companies and just destroyed them. I mean, hostile takeovers left and right. These people are competitive to the nth degree. They're different species. And I'm sorry, I don't trust them.
Lizard people. Yeah.
Lizard people. We'll talk about them one of these days on Sporking News Podcast. Yes, I know petroleum is not just gasoline, plastic medicines, etc. I understand that.
And also petroleum jelly. Big fan.
Big fan. But gasoline you knock that out. That's a big part of their, home heating, gasoline. It's a big part of their income, let's just say. And they wouldn't be, I think a couple Saudi princes might not be happy they're pumping oil.
But I mean, this is also the thing that people are going to have to understand. If we get rid of one thing, there's going to be another energy source that's not as efficient, but that we can use. I mean, you can make an engine out of a barrel and some wood and some water. Like,
yes.
Like, I mean, we had steam engines, for Christ's sake, for how long?
Right.
Trains powered by fire.
There was record of a hydrogen engine that was stable, and what it did was it took the hydrogen out of the water and used that to propel the cars, and that guy disappeared one day, died, gone. Later, I wish I could find that one. Yes, Darius, don't trust anyone who tries hard. That's what I'm saying. Yep. That's where I go with that. Anyone who tries too hard, cut them out of your life, because mediocrity is the way of the future. You've seen Idiocracy, or what is it? Idiocracy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of their movies that they're talking about and that thing are starting to come pretty true.
Yes.
I like money.
I just don't want people that cross the line. And there's a lot of, to me, massive businesses definitely going back. But, I mean, iron workers were dying left and right. They didn't give a crap in Pittsburgh. They actually shot at them who were trying to unionize. They used to beat people for trying to unionize because, I don't want to work 7 days a week, 12-hour days. My bad. There's not many Henry Fords out there.
No, and that's the problem. What has he done lately as well? Like, when you think about it.
Yeah. With the cost of gas these days, you'll need KY jelly. That's fantastic.
As I said, big fan.
Yeah, big fan. Oh, is this the one I was talking about? Wait a minute. Cracker Barrel during a business meeting. Water power cars have been around since the 1970-16. Was it Stan Meyer who I was talking about? I think that's who it is. I'm going to look that up right now. We are all about it now. Stan. Water car. There he is.
He was killed at a Cracker Barrel. Another reason not to eat at that place.
Yeah, shitty place, dude. There he is.
I just don't. The name just sounds a little bit too racist.
Oh, it's good though. Oh crap.
We don't have him here.
I don't want to accept cookies. Screw it. My thing doesn't keep the cookies. Cracker Barrels are delicious. And they're totally like a chain, but they're still good. So since the advent of automobile, the manufacturer has designed different engines and limited the environment impact posed by millions of pounds of carbon emission cars generated annually. Among these are ethanol, natural gas, electricity, and even propane. What I find funny? There's power companies around here. Their cars are fueled by propane. It's pretty funny.
Propane and propane-based accessories.
Yep. Perhaps the least known of these is the car that was said to run on water, and that may be because the inventor Stanley Meyer was murdered shortly after his patented his breakthrough. Meyer's invention
who gets the patent upon death? How does that work in the States?
I would think it would go to his family, but I don't know. It probably will tell us in here.
Yeah, because I'm not too sure. Like when it comes to patents with Australian law and any sort of intellectual property, whoever is the executor of the will, if nothing has been stated, gets to decide that.
Right. Something to that effect.
Yeah.
So which divided any kind of water, including salt water.
Okay, so it was a desalinizer as well. That's pretty cool.
It fundamentally it breaks it down into fundamental elements of hydrogen and oxygen by utilizing a process far simpler than the
electrolysis
method. Yeah. Despite skepticism about the legitimacy of a car that runs on water, Meyer was able to patent his invention under Section 101 of the Subject Material Eligibility Index, meaning he proved to a patent. So he proved
it's not just a patent for he actually physically built it and
it has to be reliably working.
Yeah. So it's beyond the basic patents go to your concept, then you have your prototypes. He's passed all that. So he's at the final stage of it.
He passed a review board.
Yeah.
Meyer's water-powered engine was the result of 20 years of research and dedication, and he claimed it was capable of converting tap water into enough hydrogen fuel to drive his car from one end of the country to the other. His invention was mind-boggling and promised a future of non-polluting vehicles that could be refueled with a garden hose. Who's making money off that? If they can't put a meter on it, who's making money off of it?
Yeah, like I mean, because the basic like he said, it's much simpler than the electrolysis method, but that's the standard method that we have.
Yep.
It doesn't when you're converting, it doesn't there's not a lot of hydrogen in water, so I'm wondering what it was that able to for him to have one tank that was able to go from one side of the country to the other.
22 gallons would go. Wait a minute, it said it right here somewhere. Right here somewhere it says it. He estimated only 22 gallons of water would be needed to travel from LA to New York. That's incredible. I don't know about that, but that's pretty damn incredible.
So that's 100 liters. So that's a large tank for a car.
Well, most cars are anywhere from 14 to 18 gallons.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was thinking it's large, so it's not that much bigger.
Right. I mean, he also had a way to convert. I don't know how he could do that, but he had a method, he said, of converting combustible gas engines into this. So that to me is crazy.
Yeah, because I think the biggest problem that I had is the hydrogen alone wasn't powerful enough to be used as a sustainable engine, unless he found a way of converting the oxygen as well back into that to create a much bigger explosion for the combustible engine.
Right.
Then that's something that.
Where's the design of this thing? So his design produced hydrogen fuel by splitting oxygen and hydrogen from water. So dissolved gas output. It shows both the hydrogen and oxygen going out. So maybe.
Yeah. So that makes more sense because I was just wondering what like is the byproduct? Does it empty out the tank? Is the tank get emptied? Is there a byproduct of like a heavy water or a highly oxygenated water or pure oxygen?
Pure oxygen, or does it evaporate? Does it create any form of heat?
Yeah, you don't want pure oxygen around a combustible engine.
That would suck. That would definitely suck. Let's see if they say anything here. Of course, these statistics are automobiles. Why aren't they? Well, for starters, petroleum industry, Meyer, and other alternative transportation inventors were up against copious amounts of money from big oil. Exxon, the world's largest publicly traded oil and gas company, reported earning in 2018 just $76.61 billion. Wow, that's
having a bad year.
Yeah, a little down. And this is but one of many oil companies that not only wield tremendous political and economic power, but also the power to influence public opinion. According to the critics, they're willing and able to quell inventions that threaten to reduce or eliminate the use of fossil fuels. They always put up a fight. They not only profit tremendously by warfare, tanks and planes, everything runs on fuel, but they have also been instrumental in instigating wars to feed the world's most destructive addiction. Those who profit from selling oil and gas have built their fortunes upon it. Their income and fortunes would be jeopardized. I get that. Can we get to where this guy actually made this thing? Okay. He was having lunch. Oh, this sucks. On March 21st, 1998, Myers was having lunch at a Cracker Barrel with his brother and the two potential Belgian investors. The four clinged their glasses to toast their commitment to uplifting the world, but after taking a sip of his cranberry juice, Meyer clutched his throat, sprang to his feet, and ran outside. Rushing after him, his brother Stephen found him down on his knees, vomiting violently. He quickly muttered his last words, "They poisoned me." I thought he got shot. Did they say before he was shot? Maybe maybe I just read into that.
I mean, I know. I do my standard joke that he got shot and died of COVID.
Yeah, maybe I fell for that. Yeah. Though eventually written, the coroner's report that he died of a cerebral aneurysm.
Yeah, as everyone knows, cerebral aneurysms make you clutch your throat and vomit.
Right. All the time.
Instead of just killing you.
So he wouldn't let it. So numerous buyout offers were made to his brother, to Myers. His brother said the inventor had warded off pressure from numerous overseas visitors, and weathered persistent government spying operations. And perhaps not a stranger, strangely, those investors who dined with Meyer's brother on that fateful day declined to offer so much as a condolences following the death. Wow. I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it could have been any one of them. It could have been the brother even.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, so his patent expired, meaning that they can now be found online in Google's patent catalog. Really? Can we prove? Does anyone prove that this thing can work?
13 miles per gallon. Was that it underneath it to say it?
Oh, I think I found it. Hold on. I think I found it. Let's see. I just want Big Fuel to know I am all behind them. This thing won't work no matter what. God bless Big Fuel Oil. Water molecules are broken down into hydrogen and oxygen gas atoms in a capacitive cell by a polarization and resonance process depends upon the dielectric properties of water and water molecules. The gas atoms are thereafter ionized and otherwise energized, and they're thermally combusted to release a degree of energy greater than the combustion of gas in ambient air. It's a real patent. That's crazy.
That's yeah, like I know I'm no scientist or anything like that, but it looks pretty simple.
Right. Like, why hasn't this been done by now? If this really worked. Semiconductor laser with lens cap. Okay, maybe a little more involved than I thought. That's crazy, man. I don't know.
I'll get Quarterblack to 3D print me up one.
Yeah. See if he could do it. We should get him on the show one of these days. Ask him whatever his favorite conspiracy is. So we got, 44 people watching as I'm just staring at pictures. I apologize. We went off on a tangent. Killed by poisonous bullet. I love you, Brutal.
And as we were saying, water, because it was powered by water, water has actually been discovered on the moon.
Yes. Has it?
Yeah, I think I saw a thing that Woolf was talking about a few years ago. The guy played Michael Dorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to the moon landing. Okay. A lot of people believe that the moon landing was fake. So,
I don't know. I think I definitely seen images of it, and it was definitely Kubrick's best work.
I believe he knocked it out of the park. I just totally got rid of everything I had saved for that by trying to find that. So where do we go? We go to Wiki. I had some really cool sites to share, and I just lost them all because I was too involved in water. So, also redirect you to Moon Hoax, the Great Moon Hoax. Is that the one about the... Wait a minute.
The Great Moon Hoax. Was there more than one?
Yeah, the Great Moon Hoax of 1835.
Oh, yeah. Good year. Good year for wine that was. Yeah,
really. It was awesome. So, the moon landing conspiracy claims that some or all the elements of the Apollo program and the associated moon landing were hoaxes staged by NASA, possibly with the aid of other organizations. The most notable claim is that the 6 crewed landings from 69 to 72 were faked, and that the 12 Apollo astronauts did not actually walk on the moon. Again, just reporting this stuff, I don't believe that. I don't. Do I find it crazy that they actually made it to the moon? I do. Because we said we've lost the technology to send a person, again, that far out into space to protect them from the Van Halen belt and other things like that. There is a footage of a NASA scientist saying, yeah, they were in the basement, the files, and we had a flood and totally lost them.
Yeah. We had a flood during that fire
Yeah.
after the tornado hit.
Yeah,
The meteor.
It was crazy.
Yeah, what a day.
But, I mean, how could you think during, I don't know, Nixon's presidency that we would fake anything? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. So let's get into some of this. So a lot of people believe that after John F. Kennedy truly wanted to reach the moon before the 60s were over, it was very expensive. It was very risky. And people believed that we weren't getting far enough and that the Russians were ahead of us in every step. You know, they put the first satellite, the first dog, the first person, so that we thought to win the space race, we had to land on the moon. We were far behind them, so we faked it. And a lot of people said, well, why would you do that? Well, less than 2 decades later, they collapsed. And a lot of people believe that that was the beginning of their fall.
Well, there was a theory that I can't remember who it was. One of the Russian celebrity guys back in the 80s. He was saying, we know for a fact that the moon landing is fake is because where they landed should have already been a Russian flag.
No shit. I never heard that one.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, that's it. And it's like, that was just a low-key way. They didn't publicize it or anything. They got there because they knew they could.
Wow.
But I mean, it's all unsubstantiated, of course, but I think it's a fun little theory. When it comes to the moon landing, the only thing that really makes me question it is the astronauts themselves. When you see when Armstrong and everything come back, he looked dejected.
Okay, hold on. We got that right here. We'll go into that right after, but hold that thought. So a lot of people believe, so there were six, and I think we had up to like 12 planned moon landings.
No, you had it right the first time, land mooning.
Right. But we canceled it after the 6th one in 1972. Funny, in that same year, the Russians had the capability of tracking deep space objects. So it almost was like once they were able to track one of our spacecrafts to the moon, we canceled it. We canceled the program entirely.
Yeah, it's like a little kid's like, man, I climbed that tree all the way out the top. It's like, cool. What do you do? It's like, I planted a flag up there. He's like, I'm going to go up there tomorrow. It's like, cool. I'll get my drone and go up there. No, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I must blown down.
Yep, I got band practice. Gotta go. I lost the paper in a flood. I don't know the route that I took. Right.
So after the Apollo 11 landing, the Soviets moon program just fizzled. So we won. So a lot of people believe that because we won after a couple landings, we just squashed it. Said we beat them. We don't need to spend that much money. The American people didn't seem as interested in it anymore. So there are a lot of reasons why we stopped going to the moon. I find it very weird that we've never gone back, though.
I mean, of all the things that we can explore, and with technology gotten so much better and so much more efficient, it's no longer a cost thing. I think it has to do with some sort of government pact where they're like, well, we don't want you going to the moon because we don't know if you're actually going to go there. You might be launching something from space.
Right.
And I think maybe I could see if they come out and said, well, we're not supposed to go to the moon because we've all agreed to not leave the Earth's orbit because it's too much of a danger.
Right. It is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous process. I love where conspiracy theorists go with this. I find it very interesting. I am more willing to believe that the moon is a satellite than I am to believe that we didn't land on the moon. But there is so much evidence. It's almost like they're begging us not to believe it.
Yeah, it's like telling a lie directly to someone's face and telling them that it's a lie at the same time, just to see if they believe. Like, well, you're the government, you are trustworthy, but you're saying, I don't know. Like, it's.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Listen, I'm going to say this one more time, guys. I'm not saying I believe we didn't land on the moon. Do I believe that some of the photos are doctored photos or photos that they did during training? There's proof of that. Because the photo quality might have been bad. Something went wrong. They had these little cameras on their chest that were terrible. So I understand that. To show proof that we went there, they may have doctored a few things. I have no problem with that. But there are some funky pictures. I mean, you have pictures with shadows going different direction. You have footage of astronauts on Apollo 11 barely coming off the lunar surface, but a couple missions later, they look like they're springing off of trampolines. I mean, the difference is jarring. There is one photo of a guy, he falls face first, and then one leg completely comes up. Like he got pulled up. Not that he jumped up, because I don't care if it's 1/6 the gravity. It definitely doesn't look like he got pushed up at all. Like you would have to have the core of the abs of Zeus.
Or at least 1/6 the abs of Zeus on the moon.
Yes, on the moon at least.
Just at least
right.
one ab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People do believe that there is a Stargate on the moon. People believe that there was a moment where after the landing, Neil Armstrong is talking to NASA about something he sees, and they go from the public channel to the private channel for a few minutes and then back to public, where a lot of people believe he says that there was alien ships waiting for them. That's crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine how scary that would be. Like you see it like an actual proper spaceship, and they're in, a flying hot dog.
Right. I mean, do people know that NASA's actually not a federal agency, but they're funded like one? That's pretty interesting.
So they're a private company?
Yeah. Did I just make that up? I don't know. Fact.
We need
Let's see it. We're actually on the funding thing.
We need a big stamp on the thing that says Sporking Fact.
Yes, dude. We need that. We need some Sporking Fact. And just goes bonk.
And then afterwards, another one, like a stamp. And it goes,
disclaimer?
Maybe.
Or like a quick disclaimer.
Yeah. Not all facts are facts. Anything is purely speculation.
Yeah, purely speculation. Oh, man, that's awesome. I actually don't think I'm going to look it up real quick. I don't think NASA's a federal agency. I swear I've heard that before. I could be completely lying to everyone now. NASA.
Well, I know they get a shit ton from the government, but then again, so does Ukraine. So.
Right.
So, who knows?
Okay, NASA.
They have a contract with the government. So, but
contract,
would that make them a private company, an entity, its own governing body? Is it like Disney World?
I know of other companies, they're considered contractors that have contracts with the United States government.
Like, I mean, if NASA is at sea, does that mean that NASA has a business certificate?
Well, look, National Aeronautics. So NASA is an independent agency of the U.S. federal government. What does that mean?
So it is a part of it then. But how can
know.
you be of the government and independent of it at the same time?
Thank you. It's also, let's see.
My child doesn't live at home. He just lives here. Wait, what? This is your home. No, it's different.
Is an independent agency, space research, are all conducted by the government. I don't freaking know.
So Lorraine apparently worked with NASA.
Really?
I didn't know that.
That's nuts. She's smart. She is damn smart.
But you have to be. She worked for NASA.
Let's see. It was founded in 1947. Oh, it was established by Congress. So it must. Okay. It's allowed to make money, I guess. I don't know. All right. Sporking fact. Back to the moon landing.
Fact check. We don't do it, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, this might be a fact check. So let's see. So the American Patriot Friends Network claimed in 2009 that the landing helped the United States government distract public attention from unpopular Vietnam. That's crazy to me.
When does the government like distract people with wars and other stuff like that?
Right, crazy.
Conspiracy theorists.
They're nuts. Many moon landing conspiracy theorists have been put forward, claiming either that the landing did not happen, that NASA employees have lied, or that landing did happen, but not in the way that has been told. Conspiracies have focused on perceived gaps and inconsistencies in the historical record. The foremost idea is that the whole crew landing program was a hoax from start to end. Some claim that the technology to send men to the moon was lacking, or that the Van Halen
Yep.
Yes. This is the part that it makes it kind of crazy for me. You have the Van Allen belt, solar flare, solar winds, coronal mass ejections, and cosmic rays made such a trip at that time impossible for a manned ship.
Just something as small as like a grain of sand in space can go through a ship. It's yeah, like I mean, there's a million reasons why it couldn't have happened.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that it didn't.
Right. Right.
But yeah.
So, according to James Longiski, the conspiracy theories are impossible because of their size and complexity. The conspiracy would have to involve more than 400,000 people who worked on the Apollo. See, but that's not true, because not everyone was in the room. I mean, not everyone is there for the moment. Yes, people worked on a lot of different things. Yes, people built the ships, watched them take off, but like no one knows what happens once they hit there. Even in the mission control, that footage could all be faked. You know what I mean? Like, to say 400,000 people were in the known, that's like saying everybody who worked on the Manhattan Project knew what the hell they were doing.
See,
there was a lot of people. 50,000.
It's hard enough to keep a secret between two people, and every time, I think the rule is as soon as 12 people know a secret, you've got a 100% chance of that secret coming out.
Yep.
And you're dealing with hundreds of thousands.
Right.
Back in a second, buddy.
Yeah, take your time. So a lot of people believe that if it was a hoax, it would have been outed by now, but people have come forward and they've been called kooks. So Penn Jillette, NASA had, right, what I'm trying to say. So a lot of people feel that NASA compartmentalized, oh my God, I can't speak tonight, all the work of the Apollo program, allowing just a small number of people to know it was a fake. Again, not saying it was, I'm just reading the facts of the matter. So the oddities with the film, that's the stuff I find very interesting. Okay. 1998 scan, both the crosshair and part of the red stripes have bled out. So let's go with some of the footage. In some photos, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So what was those photo comparisons?
So these are the oddities in the photos. So I'm about to read it. In some photos, the crosshairs appeared to be behind objects. The cameras were fitted with a residue plate, a clear glass plate with a rectal. I just said rectal. What's that word? Etched on reticle? I don't know. Freaking marks.
No, it's a rectal from now on.
Yeah, it could be rectal. Also known as gradical. It's a pattern like a crosshair.
Yeah, it's a crosshair essentially.
Yeah, making it impossible for any photographed object to appear in front of the grid. Conspiracy theorists often use this evidence to suggest objects were pasted over the photos, hence obscuring the crosshairs. And you see it in some of these. So enlarged of a higher quality 2004, they're saying now you could see it. Wow. I can't enlarge that, I guess. That is very small. How do I X out of that? Do I just go back? Okay. Well,
So is that a person holding a flag, or is that a box or something that they've put on the moon? I can't quite tell what that is.
it's a box of some sort. I have no clue. But this is what makes me laugh. Like people, all right, it's not there. You don't see it in the 98 poor quality, but enlarged and high quality 2004. Look, it's there now. Like they couldn't add that on later, please, people.
Yeah. Also, you've got to look at the crosshair that's on the left hand side. It's bleeding into the textures of the background.
Right.
So at the lighter parts of the ground, it's disappearing more. So it makes sense that the part that's completely white you do not see.
Right. Right.
That's just a lot of this sort of stuff comes from just a lack of understanding of filming.
Right.
And shapes and shadows and everything like that.
Well, that's the problem with a lot of the hardcore conspiracy theorists. It's like, look, I am not a smart human being compared to someone who built a ship to fly to the moon. But in that moment, conspiracy theorists feel like they are. Like they know, they're in the known. They know something more than others. And a lot of the times it is a simple thing that they take flat earth. These people have proven themselves wrong and they still believe in the flat earth theory. If you prove it wrong, I'll believe it. But there are times where, you know, to keep the lie going, you might do things to fix the problem, let's just say. And could this be one of those things? Again, you know more about photography than me.
Yeah, I mean that's. And also when you're dealing with anything that's a lot lower quality, there's a reason why in films and everything they like to go to the camera shot and everything, because you can make it lower quality to hide things.
Right.
But it also works for something if you're trying to show something and it's in a lower quality, you're not going to get much clarity out of it.
Right.
You've got technology and everything that can upscale and everything like that, but that's not a real photo. That's it interpreting what it is, and every program that does the exact same thing comes out with a different photo.
Mm-hmm. Right. There you go. Boom. A lot of people
Sporking
talk
fact.
Sporking fact. A lot of people talk about the lack of stars in the picture. Again, that could be the brightness of the moon.
Yeah.
Takes away from the stars, you know.
If you want a light to be able to see the stars, everything that's on the moon will be completely blown out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that too.
Go take your phone outside. If you
Right.
actually just take a normal camera, go shoot up at the sky. Don't touch any of your settings. Then switch it to auto and do the same thing, and you'll see that. Oh, look, one of those photos you can see the stars. One you can't.
Right. The angle and color of shadows are inconsistent. That I found kind of interesting. There's like different shadows going different way, and they're inconsistent in different areas. But you are on the moon.
There's that one where they're standing there, and the shadows look like it's one way, but then there's another. But the ground where it is, it's not that there's a shadow there. There's just a lack of light because the ground is curved. It's like like a sand dune.
Right.
And
Also,
just the angle that it looks at it makes it look like it's going one direction, but it's actually perpendicular to that.
Right. And also other things are lighting off the lunar module. So like there are causing shadows to go different ways or be shorter lengths in different areas.
Yeah.
So there are identical backgrounds in photos, which according to their captions were taken miles apart. This suggests that painted background was used. So this, another one.
Or the photos were equally equal.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said, "Oh, this was at the landing point, and this was here. This photo that didn't turn out was actually over here, but it turned out the two that they had were mixed up."
Okay. Yeah.
Just
right there. There was a lot of mislabeling. They said.
Well, they're astronauts. They're not bureaucrats. They don't know how to file papers, probably.
And probably never thought people would believe it was fake too. So, the number of photos taken is implausible, up to one photo per 50 seconds. I don't know about that many were taken immediately after each other as stereo pairs or panorama sequence. It's based on a lone astronaut on the surface and does not take into account that there were two astronauts sharing the workload. Okay, whatever. The photos contain artifacts like the two seemingly matching C's on a rock and on the ground. These may be labeled studio props. Those are kind of interesting.
That's not how you label studio props. When anything they have like that, if they're going to put a physical label on it, they'll have it on the part that's the flat part on the bottom.
Okay.
Because what's the point of having a studio prop with a big thing on that if you're trying to make it look like something?
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Well, it could be someone put it on the wrong side of the prop.
Yeah, it's very rare that would happen.
Yeah, but they're suggesting the C is a coiled hair.
Actually, it's even more rare for props to be actually labeled.
Tell me that doesn't look like a C though.
It does look like a C, yeah.
Could be a carnivoron from the planet Carnivorous was there once.
I didn't think they liked the saltiness of the moon.
I don't know. I've heard things. That's all I'm saying. I mean, again, the landing is a good one. I love the landing one, but when you look into it a little further, yeah, it kind of makes it harder. I try to see it the way these people are seeing it.
And that's the hardest part about the entire thing is because you see something like that and instead of going, okay, well, wonder what that is, they've already got the see, there you go, that's how they label a prop. This is what it is, this is the definitive thing, and that spreads. And until someone asks, so how do they label props? And we usually don't label them because they're going to be on screen. Whoever your prop master is knows what each of them are. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
And 90% of props after they've been done are destroyed or thrown out.
Yes. See, I agree with Yeti. Yeti says so much of the evidence for conspiracies is misinterpreted, but there are weird things like the moon rock being wood. There are some interesting things. He has a point. So like this, a resident of Perth, Western Australian, one of your people, Una Ronald, a pseudonym created by the author of a source, said that for 2 or 3 seconds she saw a Coca-Cola bottle roll across the lower right quadrant of her television screen that was displaying the live broadcast of Apollo 11. Letters appeared in the West Australian discussing the Coca-Cola bottle.
That's where the C comes from.
Oh, it was Coca-Cola.
And because it was probably paper mache on the outside of that moon rock, when it rolled, the C touched it, transferred it across. I mean, I know that's not how transfers work, but if I say it enough, people will believe that's true.
Yeah. You have the 94 book Moonshot contains an obviously fake composite photo of Alan Shepard hitting a golf ball on the moon with another astronaut. It was used instead of the only existing real image from the TV monitor, which the editors seemingly felt were too grainy for their book. The book published did not work for NASA, although the author was a retired NASA astronaut. So they did have fake. Look, they had photos they took reenacting what they did on the moon.
Yeah, but that's what
Fact.
it was like.
Sporking fact.
Yeah, it's like you did a YouTube short about this where you put an alien in the top corner. There you go. It proves aliens are real.
Right.
It's like no. This was someone telling their story, selling it in a different medium,
right.
and it never claimed that every single part of the page was real.
Right.
When they didn't, and they even state, like when someone says, "Oh, I didn't have any footage," and then they do it. This is a reenactment. You're like, well, wait a minute. There was no cameras there for that murder.
Right. None at all.
Yeah.
This is kind of. I mean, look. It does look more like a spotlight in this picture than the edited one. Like a fake light was being used. I don't know. Could it be? Who knows? Hot spots. Who filmed Neil Armstrong stepping onto the moon?
Well, that was the one that I always asked. I'm like, okay, he was the first one. But what about the cameraman?
Right.
That was the one that it's just like, oh no, it was the other. It was a module that it was something attached to it.
It's like an arm that came from the side.
And I'm like, and that traveled through space, all right? Wouldn't you think to go out there and attach it and then?
Right. This is the one that I feel like they do have enough, like radiation, surviving the actual trip. Like that to me would have been the hardest thing, and hard to interpret what would happen. So that's like a big thing the conspiracies come up with the environment itself. What do you think about that?
So the whole Van Halen belt sort of thing, the radiation.
Yep.
I understand that, but the thing of it is, we don't know the type of radiation, the consistency of it. Like putting your phone to your ear, you get radiation. Being near a microwave, you get radiation. We're bombarded with radiation all the time. Is it something that we could survive if we're going through it?
Well, that's
potentially.
That's it.
But is it something that is it deadly if we're exposed to it? Say, for instance, we're in there for 30 seconds, and let's just say being exposed to it for 10 minutes is fatal. Okay, that means that we can't have people going up there all the time. So if an astronaut is going through there, they can only go through there a couple of times.
Right.
So I can understand limits like that if it was to do that. But that was never mentioned. It was this thing is so dangerous, yet we're still able to get through it. They had radiation shields. Is there something that can stop that?
Yeah.
We don't know. Like,
right. Well, they're
I
saying
think,
aluminum hulls protected them from ionizing radiation. They through the more dangerous part of the belts. So one of the belts, they were only in it for about an hour and a half. Like you said, if they parked there, more dangerous. But they were able to go through it.
Like, I mean, I get the aluminium and everything, because if you ever put aluminium in a microwave, when it reacts to its like they don't like each other. So I get that. I get that would make sense, and maybe it's deadly enough, but the shielding is enough to a point where it's not lethal.
Right.
Maybe that's why they're all looking so dejected when they come back. It's like they just had a full round of chemo.
Crazy. We're going to look at that in a minute. Apollo 16 crew could not have survived a big solar flare firing out when they were on their way to the moon. No large solar flare occurred. A lot of people believe that happened.
Yeah, I was going to say, but like, yeah, okay, they couldn't survive if a meteor hit the thing as well, but a meteor didn't hit, so yeah. Like, can you imagine if that was the actual Challenger disaster? They got up there and a meteor hit them. Like, it's hard to believe that they would put that in there, a solar flare, but there was no solar flares. So how could we know for certain?
There was one in August of that year, 72, but that was after Apollo 16 and before Apollo 17. So,
but like, okay, having a solar flare does. You got to understand, like that's like standing across the room and hitting a pin prick on the wall with another pin. It's like if they would have hit with that radiation thing to be deadly from the solar flare.
With no atmosphere though, and no, we're protected on Earth because of magnets. Sporking confirmed. Sounded good, right? No, it didn't. But on the moon, you have no atmosphere, no protection, nothing.
Yeah, but I'm saying the flare has to hit the moon. A flare.
We were in the path at
direction.
that time. Oh, well, in August, in that time, it went through our area of the solar system. Let's just say it went through Earth's orbit. So could it have? Maybe, but they weren't even there. So,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a weird way of wording it. That was all. So,
yeah, no heat transfer, but there's still radiation. That's what I'm talking about. And a solar flare. Yeah, there's no heat transfer because there's no oxygen. I understand that part, but solar flare is more than just the heat transference.
I was waiting for someone to do an Insane Clown Posse reference. Thank you, Darius.
Oh, sorry. How do they work?
Yeah, fucking man. How do they? Yeah, that's from the philosopher Violent J.
Violent J.
Yeah. Oh no, that was Shaggy Too Dope. Sorry, never mind.
Yeah, get it right, dude.
Yeah.
A lot of people believe the flag looked like it was waving, but there's no atmosphere for it to do that.
Well, they've done this experiment, because the flag has a pole up the top of it as well.
Yeah, there's wire.
Yeah, putting it in a completely depressurized thing, it naturally starts to move. because there is no restrictions, and the fabric, because it's all wound together, will physically move with any sort of gravity as well. And that small movements, like on a bridge, when people stamp, it becomes this chain reaction, and it starts waving.
Right. This was a good one. People believe that how could moon dust, the footprints, be expected well preserved in moon dust despite the lack of moisture? Well, it has no atmosphere, so how could it? Like, there's no winds blowing and allowing the dust particles to kick up, so it's pretty much just there.
That's the reason why it's still there.
Yeah, exactly. People believe because there's no moisture to heart. I don't know what they're idiots. Okay, getting into stuff. Maybe a little bit was done. The alleged moon landing used either a soundstage or filmed outside in a remote desert, with the astronauts either using harnesses or slow motion photography to make it look like they were on the moon. Could they have reenacted stuff for footage?
I don't think the slow motion photography back then was not really slow motion photography.
Right.
That's the point. So it's not. You can rule slow motion photography out for what that is, because wire work. Yeah, I mean, until you actually see how people physically move on the moon yourself,
right?
It's hard to know, because when they do stuff in movies, it looks the same,
right,
as what happened then. So either people, and almost everyone seems to be able to mimic what happened on the moon perfectly with wires, or they had some sort of assisted, because as you said, everyone was jumping up differently. So I don't know.
Yeah. People saying there's no crater where the lunar module hit. There should have been some type of kick up and a crater from the lunar module. No crater should be expected. The 10,000-pound thrust descent propulsion system was throttled very far down during the final landing. The lunar module was no longer quickly decelerating, so the descent engine only had to support the lander's own weight.
See, I get that, but at the same time, if that's the case and it used its own weight, so therefore there isn't any sort of kick up or debris, why is there footprints then?
Right. Something should have been pushed out, right?
Yeah, because they said the six divots from the landers.
Right.
If they're still there, then I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Right.
I
don't. That's a weird one.
Yeah, because I figure if you pick one side of the argument, either for or against, then you can't use the opposite argument when arguing about the footprint versus the landing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They you know what? They're going to throw out the mumbo jumbo. I'm not smart enough to know. All I know is you would think, even though it's in the vacuum of space and it has 1/6 the gravity, something that big touching down would leave a little bit of displacement. And it doesn't even look like it did that.
So Yeti says, fun fact, the astronauts were saved from dying on return because of a pen they took apart.
Huh.
I
did not know that.
I didn't think that was them, but, well, there you go.
See, this is the one. The lunar module weighed 17 tons, made no mark on the moon dust, yet footprints did.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the part I was like, huh? So they're saying on the surface of Earth, Apollo 11 fuel and crewed Lunar Eagle would have weighed approximately 17 short ton. On the surface of the moon, however, after expending fuel, it would have weighed 1,200 kilos, so 2,700 pounds.
Yeah, so it's still 1.2 ton.
Right.
Yeah, 1.2 ton is not. And also remember, it's points of contact.
Right.
Are three things. It's not like it's a big flat thing where the weight is dispersed. It's coming down on 3 hard points.
Right.
Jesus Christ, those legs must be fucking tough.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And their boots were much smaller than the lander's approximately 3-foot diameter foot pads pressure or force per unit area rather than mass determines the amount of regolith compression. In some photos, the footprint did press into the... I don't give a shit. All I know is there should have been a mark. Where part of the astronauts' spacesuits could not have worked in an environment of no atmosphere. They only worked in a vacuum, so that doesn't sound right. Okay. There should have been more than 2-second delay in communication. Wow, people really broke this stuff down, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know what it's like. Even when we're talking on this stream here now, we've got better technologies than they ever had. There is still, a delay.
Right. Australia again. The Parkes Observatory in Australia. Parkes was billed to the world for 4 weeks as the site that would be relaying communication from the first moonwalk. However, 5 hours before transmission, they were told to stand down. Yeah,
not just that. Because when you were on the other side of the planet and they were doing the communications and everything with it, they had no connection for like half an hour. They're like, we should have been able to contact them by now. What's going on? And then eventually they got contact with them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was way longer than it was expected.
No shit.
Also, the guys who were in charge of it got in trouble for playing cricket on the satellite dish.
That's awesome. They also, the Parkes again, supposedly had the clearest video feed from the moon, but Australian media and all other known sources ran a live feed from the United States.
Yeah, that was a very common thing when it come to live transmissions within Australia, because they just didn't trust the infrastructure.
Oh, really?
Because at that stage, TV in Australia was only about 10 to 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, actually 61. Yeah, so 10 years old.
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
That is crazy. Better signal was supposedly received at Parkes Observatory when the moon was on the opposite side of the planet. This is not supported. Detailed evidence and logs from the mission. That's weird. You would think if it was on that side of the planet. Wait a minute. Better signal was supposed to...
No, yeah, apparently, When you were getting
when
it,
it was on the other side from Australia, they're saying.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But what they're saying is they're picking up a signal, which means that it has to have come terrestrial instead of extraterrestrial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is where people start getting a little crazy. So, and this is where I could believe more. So the Apollo 11 missing tapes. Dr. David R. Williams, NASA archivist. Apollo 11 flight director Eugene F. Kranz both acknowledged that the original high-quality Apollo 11 telemetry data tapes are missing. So, conspiracies see this as evidence that they never existed. The Apollo 11 tapes were different from the telemetric tapes of the other moon landings because they contained the raw television broadcast. For technical reasons, the Apollo 11 lander carried a slow scan television camera to broadcast the picture to regular television, and a scan conversion had to be done. The radio telescope at the Parkes Observatory in Australia was able to receive the telemetric from the moon at the time of the Apollo 11 moonwalk. Parkes had a bigger antenna than NASA's antenna in Australia in the Honeysuckle Creek tracking station, so it received a better picture. It also received a better picture than NASA's antenna at Goldstone Deep Space Communication Complex. Whew! This direct TV signal, along with the telemetric data, was recorded onto 1-inch 14-track analog tape at Parkes. Better detail and contrast in the scan. Blah 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 blah. And it is this original tape that is missing. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, there was a fire and a flood.
Yeah, fire and a flood.
During the snowstorm.
Yep.
Worst summer ever.
Right, it had to be. It had to be. That's crazy that it's missing. You would think that would be like a national treasure. You know?
Yeah, some people think it was actually just flogged by someone who worked there. That it wasn't some conspiracy, it was just some greedy prick.
Right. Well, they're saying that they were found in a small marine science laboratory, 100 data tapes. Yeah. in the main physics building at the Curtin University of Technology in Perth, Australia. Wow. I didn't know that. Indicated that it must have erased the original. So in 2009, NASA indicated that it erased the original Apollo 11 moon footage years ago so that it couldn't reuse the tape.
In all fairness, the big game was on, and I was going to miss it. Yeah,
we had a recorded, Dynasty. That's crazy. Blueprints too. Grumman appeared to destroy most of the LM documentation, but copies of the blueprints for the Saturn V exist on microfilm. I don't know, man. There's just some crazy shit here.
Yeah, I was going to say, get to the deaths. This is
where we need to. Okay. In television programs about the moon landing hoax allegations, Fox Entertainment Group listed the death of 10 astronauts and 2 civilians related to the crew space flight program as part of alleged cover-up. Theodore Freeman killed ejecting from a T-38 which had suffered a bird strike.
Yeah, you've got to understand yeah. So the T-38 killed more people than the T-800.
Yes.
And it's determinate. Like, it was after that one, there was a guy who did all the checks and everything himself to make sure everything was perfectly fine with it. Everything was fine. He went and suited up, went in there, and it malfunctioned, and he died.
Yeah. Couple T-38s crashes here, buddy. Elliot C. and Charles Bassett, T-38 crash in bad weather. Virgil Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger B. Coffa, they killed in the fire of Apollo 1. That was terrible. Edward Ed Givens killed in a car accident. Clifton C.C. Williams ejected from what again? A T-38. Michael J. Mike Adams died in an X-15 crash. Only pilot killed during the X-15 flight test program. He was a test pilot, not a NASA. Well, he still died. Robert Henry Lawrence Jr. killed in an F-104 crash. Let's see. Thomas Ronald Barron died in an automobile crash with a train. Oh, my car ran out of gas right on the train. That's crazy. I don't know. Some of this stuff is getting crazy, but Stanley Kubrick. How can we miss that? Kubrick, most people believe, was involved in, most conspiracy theorists believe that he produced much of the footage for Apollo 11 and Apollo 12. And a lot of people believe that The Shining is the proof of that. That there's a lot of evidence in The Shining, like the room number is the same distance from the Earth to the moon. The kid's wearing a NASA shirt. Like, there's a lot of different things that compare it to the moon. But let's get into like actual footage. So right here, this is Buzz, Neil, and the other guy. I forget the other guy's name.
Yeah, Neil, Buzz Aldrin, and Third Wheel. This is them just getting back. Look. Oh, we're so excited. I'm so happy to be the first man who walked on the moon. I look so happy. Look at us all. We're so ecstatic to be up here. I really giving off a lot. Look at Buzz. I'm Buzz Aldrin. I still think Buzz was the guy that was in charge of a lot of it.
Dude.
He's yeah.
Yep.
If there was ever one astronaut you wouldn't want to meet in a dark alleyway.
Yeah. Dude, totally.
He was probably their handler.
Right. Let's take a look at this
Look how
one.
sad. Like, dude, he's the first person in history to touch another planet.
Yes, look at Neil. And Buzz
because this was
talking?
his life's dream, this was his life's work, and it means nothing to him.
No.
Look at the body language experts need to go through this because this was, for me, this was you can't. It's all circumstantial evidence, obviously, but this was the one thing. It's just like, this is so weird. There's a difference between being stoic,
right,
and
feeling like you just got away with a robbery.
Oh yeah,
Neil
Yeah,
Armstrong wants to be anywhere but there.
yeah.
And why is Buzz the only one really talking?
Handlers do that.
Yep. Look at him. Look at Neil. Just look at Neil. Watch.
The other guy has a glorious moustache, though. I will give him that.
Amazing. I mean, Buzz doesn't look. I mean, Neil doesn't look up. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be there, man. And then, okay, let's look up this too. Look at him. He's sweating, fixing his hair.
Oh, actually, what was said just then? It'd be interesting to say that
Okay,
that made him have that
I
reaction.
found identify when this loss of balance was approaching.
Loss of balance. We
In
didn't do
maneuvering
anything.
around, as you saw, this was one of my tasks fairly early in the EVA.
Let's hear it.
I
All right,
found
he's about to
that
talk.
a standard. This seemed to work.
Too many interesting things to do. The surface,
Looking for permission?
as we said, was fine-grained with lots of rocks in it. It took footprints very well, and the footprints stayed in place. The limb was in good shape and exhibited no damage from the landing or the descent. It's a picture of the ladder with the well-known plaque on the primary strut.
Dude just does not look happy.
He's just. I mean, yeah. He's talking about what the ship looks like. We can see all this stuff.
But he's
yeah.
so robotic.
Yeah.
So, all right, Neil Armstrong, speech, I think it was, in White House. Okay. So this was the 40th, and you only need to see this one. This is where you don't even have to watch the whole thing. Just Joe Rogan had this up. This is him talking about, just cryptic. Just listen to it. Hold on. So it starts with them in the interview again. They're all look depressed.
On the 25th anniversary of the event in 1994, Neil Armstrong made a rare public appearance and held back tears as he spoke these brief cryptic remarks before the next generation of taxpayers as they toured the White House.
The next generation of taxpayers.
Taxes.
We have with us a group of students among America's best. To you, we say, we have only completed a beginning. We leave you much that is undone. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers.
Truth's protective
He is.
layers. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Buzz. Oh, watch this, too. As he got older, he started losing his mind.
Habitation on the moon. We can visit other people with their habitation. We can keep track. If there's something very important to be developed from the moon, I'm not sure what it is right now. And I sure think we should identify what it is for America to make such gross expenditures again for human habitation on the moon. We can help. We can join with. Together, we can explore the moon and develop the moon.
I don't like
We should
the way he's
go
looking at me.
Yeah, it's making me feel uncomfortable. The handler is staring at me, and I'm just going to nod because it's like, yeah, you're right, Mr. Buzz Aldrin.
Boldly
But
where
Buzz
man
Lightyear.
has not gone before. Fly by the comets, visit asteroids, visit the moon of Mars. There's a monolith.
That was
there, a
almost.
very
Yeah.
unusual
How did you notice it?
structure on the-
Visit the moon of Mars.
Yeah, of Mars because we've never been to the other one. And then he says there's a monolith on the moon of Mars.
Unusual structure on this very
Wait a minute.
monolith, Mars.
God damn
There's
it.
a
I'm
monolith.
going back a little bit. Okay.
asteroids, visit the moon of Mars. There's a monolith there, a very unusual structure on this little potato-shaped object that goes around Mars once in 7 hours. When people find out about that, they're going to say, who put that there? Who put that there? Well, the universe
We did.
Yeah.
put it there. If you choose, God put it there. Maybe
Look, dude, why isn't that more? Like a bigger, like that would have been huge news, and it was just, I remember hearing it like once.
Return.
You know what I mean? Like it's nuts. Nuts. He literally said there's a monolith on a moon in Mars. All right, so we also have Moonwire guys. Let me get these guys up.
Nighttime Prophet.
Night Prophet, thanks for staying up with us.
All right. But we will at 5.
Watch
Okay,
this
then.
guy. I'm going to get copyrighted like a mofo. All right, laying down, just chilling. And oh yeah, just leaning back and bloop. All right, I'm up. I'm up. Oh, 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 I'm falling. And somehow, from one leg, oh, they don't show it in this one as well. Shit. Oh, maybe it's right here.
No, dadgummit. Well, hey, Gene, would you go over and help Twinkle Toes,
Dude, this
please?
guy cannot hold on to anything.
No, you're on the moon, bro.
Yeah, not in the shower.
That
God.
camera bracket so the bags stay on, and I'll be a lot better off.
All right.
Roger.
That wasn't the one. Damn it. Where's the next one? Come on, find it. Find it. Moon. Hold on. We are having fun here, people. Stay with us.
River.
Not Egger.
The next gen. I still can't get over the next generation of taxpayers. That's such a weird way of wording that last video.
Okay. Astronauts falling on the moon.
To the sound of Benny Hill,
Yeah, right?
but 1/6 the speed.
Further down. Hey,
It might not show the
I told
wires,
you
but
what.
it's funny. Look at how...
up.
I know it's 1/6, but coming up
We
shouldn't...
see that one went all the way in. Not quite.
Okay, that looked kind of real. All right, I'll give you that.
Light, tell me.
Go.
The,
There he is. All but about,
Imagine being the guy who died on the moon because he was turtle backed and he couldn't get up.
Bob, I tell you, this central station's a bear.
Here's
Bear
shit.
to get level.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, just because I guess see that sort of stuff makes
Yeah,
no
I
sense because the way in which you balance, like you naturally can shift yourself really quick, but doing that, it's like throwing yourself 6 times harder back
Yeah.
in the opposite direction.
Remind me to dust my camera too, will you?
This is the one, I think. Hold
Don't
on.
forget to dust your camera.
All right, this is the one, I think.
I think I can.
Look how he springs up.
Okay, if I do it that way, get her way down there. Okay, now try.
Right out there.
If we get a couple inches at a throw,
Okay, the
we're all right.
experiment
There
is
you
in
go.
standby, and we have a
Yeah,
recommendation
for a
on the
little
problem with that
Okay, let me
thing. Is
put
to put
my
the
foot
wrench
on
on it and go clockwise.
Okay, ready? Yeah. It's got to loosen up.
All right, hold on. I don't want to listen to him. Just watch him. Damn it. There's one Rogan show. It was unbelievable. Ah, screw it. I'll find the one. Falling on the Moon, Joe Rogan. Thank you for being here and just watching me.
Joe
look
Rogan
up
fell
things.
on the moon. God,
Yeah,
that
Joe
guy, That
Rogan.
guy's done everything. I tell you.
Joe Rogan fell on the moon. It's crazy, right? Oh, this is it. Watch how this guy springs up. I mean, we kind of just saw it, but the angle looked weird. So, how do you spring up like this? I don't care if it's 1/6 gravity. And I'm about to yank him up and falling back, yank up. I don't know. Kind of looks crazy. That's the guy dropping everything.
Well, it makes sense if he wasn't ready for the pull. That's why he dropped it.
Right. And then you have like astronauts. Here, I'll definitely get hit for this one, but I don't care.
Look at the part where most people have watched. So towards the end.
Yeah, it's like that one. All right. Is this where he's jumping on the moon? Oh, look at these guys springing. So 1/6 of gravity, but they look like they're on trampolines. Like no one else jumped that high. Not even trying jump that high. It's insane, man.
Easiest way to tell if someone's on like a trampoline or something is they do a small bounce first and then to get the bigger one.
Right. And watch this guy. From like nothing, he just how does he pull up like that from one leg? One leg, no arms, nothing. The other guy's not helping him up. It's insane.
Did he throw his back leg out when he did that? Because if he had a counterweight,
maybe
if you had a counterweight, it wouldn't take a huge counterweight to be able to rebalance yourself.
That's true. So before we go, because it's been 2 hours of me just watching stuff on the moon, and thank you for all you guys sticking with us tonight. I hope you had fun. Let us know. Throw a Y if you enjoyed this, because I was everywhere with the moon. I should write myself a script or something. Be more prepared.
Just so you know what you haven't followed for the episode.
Yeah. That's, you know what, dude? Maybe I should write myself a little outline. I'm learning here. But throw Y, because I said so, in there, please. Let's see. This is one we wanted to show. China. Let me blow this up for y'all. China publishes, then deletes report saying it may have picked up signal from an alien civilization.
No, Alan Sibby. He's a friend of mine from college.
Oh.
Yeah. My mistake.
Oh, Alan Lean. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. But yeah, so Chinese researchers
Also, we're building a laser for no reason.
No reason. Can hit the moon. Chinese researchers say they've picked up the trace of signals that could be from an alien civilization, according to the now deleted report published by the country's science ministry. I hate anything with a ministry. The narrowband electromagnetic signals were detected by the world's largest radio telescope, FAST, also known as Sky Eye, located in the southwestern Guizhou province, with a dish. Did that sound good? Did that sound like
that's probably the closest you've gotten with any of them.
Any of them. Guizhou, with a dish diameter of 16,000 or 100 feet. That's 48.7 meters
Jesus
to the rest
Christ.
of the world. Yeah.
That's half a kilometer.
It's pretty big. Sky Eye's primary objective is participate in the search for ETs or EIs.
Yeah, more like Brother Eye.
Right. Watching the man the man watching us. So on Tuesday, this was before the 15th, the state-run media outlet Science and Technology Daily reported that the researchers under Professor Zhang Tongji, described as chief scientist of the Chinese Extraterrestrial Civilization Research Group at Beijing Normal University. Beijing Normal University?
Yeah, there's the abnormal, then there's the normal one, you know?
I went to BNU, didn't you? Didn't you know Zheng Chao? Anyways, reported several cases of possible technological traces in extraterrestrial civilizations from outside the Earth. Whew. It's unclear why the report was removed from Science and Technology Daily, the official media outlet of Chinese Science and Technology Ministry, according to the Bloomberg. The news had already started trending on the country's most popular social network, Weibo, and was even picked up by other state-run media outlets. So Science and Technology Daily reported that Zhang and his team detected 2 sets of suspicious signals in 2020 while still processing data. So they just released this data.
Yeah, so obviously they're combing through, mountains of data and everything, and this stuff that they're at the moment. So that goes to show you when it comes to their stuff, they're only 2 years behind.
Right.
Searching everything.
Well, it says signal in 2022 or 2020 while still processing data from the following year, and found another in 2022 from observation data of an exoplanet targets. Because China's
they're looking specifically at a body, whether it's a moon, another planet. So they've pointed their signal. We're going to look here for something, and they picked up something.
Right.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It also says, because China's sky eye is extremely sensitive and low frequency radio band, the possibility that the suspicious signal is some kind of radio interference is also very high, and it needs to be further confirmed and ruled out, Zhang said from his 30-day suspension in some camp. This may be a long process, he added. That's crazy, though.
Okay, this is the thing. It's like, okay, we're going to build it. It's going to be really low frequency, so anything can do it. It's on top of a mountain with extremely high elevation,
yes,
with no one
nothing
around
around it. I mean, it's China. Except for it's very rural for the most of the country.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. And they're like, oh no, it's most likely just a radio interference. From where? Was there an aeroplane that went over there that was using a low band frequency? Then they would be able to know. They were pointing their signal directly at a planet, and they got a signal from that planet.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy.
Dude, imagine the half-pipe things you'd get in that thing.
Nuts.
Or you get a coin. You get a coin and you roll it around the edges. It'll take a month to get to the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's crazy. I didn't read these. Sorry, man. Mr. Grant Gregory for 100. Thank you. Kubrick shot the landing and they shot him. Circle of life. Darius gave us a sticker. It's probably ice cream for $1.49. Thank you, Darius. Thank you, Mr. Grant Gregory. We had a couple polls. Thoughts on the moon? It's real, 57%. It was placed there by aliens, 18%. It's real, never landed there, 14%. It's fake, 10%. Wow. I like this one. Was Myers murdered? 80% of you said yes.
And 20% are keeping their lives tonight.
Yes. Did we fake the moon landing? No, 58%. Both, 27. Yes, 13th. I'm with the both. With the both.
So I definitely think there's, whether the first one was there or I don't know. Maybe that's the whole thing. The second moon landing, when Buzz went up there as the captain, maybe he was technically the first one. That's
right.
why Neil's all shitty. They're like, all right, we're gonna fake this one. Buzz will get the next one. Don't worry, you'll get the 7th one. Right. Oh, look, we stopped after 6.
Oh, too bad. Real quick, I'm looking up the hologram moon because that blew my mind. I've never heard of that one. The moon is a hologram. Okay.
That's no moon. That's a starship.
That's a starship, man. Hold on. We're going to share this somewhere. Am I looking it up where we're sharing? I am, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can see all your password.
Yeah, right?
All one of them.
Yeah, please take what you need. This man has spent years of his life filming the moon with a high quality of telescope, and now he proves that all that research and all those films have convinced him the moon is a hologram. He even has his own YouTube channel? Dude, where he posts his videos? Who is this guy? Get him on. Yeah. I got to find this guy. We got to talk to him.
He fell down and landed on bullets.
Oh, damn it. The Skywatcher has... his name is Skywatcher. The Skywatcher. A long time ago...
Ray Skywatcher.
Yeah. Don't get him on. He caught a lunar wave. He is convinced that he has proof that a moon is just a hologram. He also posts videos of him explaining that he could always predict when the next lunar wave would come because the events are fixed. You can look for his account on YouTube by the name of... this is the second time we're seeing this. CCrow777. I got to look this guy up.
All right, you keep reading. I'll look him up.
Okay. Where you can notice that he is not alone in this. He has a great network of followers as well as other people who support this very crazy theory. He claims that he has been relentless in his research and that he would not show something like this to the public if he was not that convinced about. I talked to a lot of people that are also watchers of the sky, and he says some of the people are aware of this fact. He get himself in trouble for this. Know the truth. The response of his videos statement at first was he photoshopped his videos and he monitored the illusion in order to prevent. Other scientists believe that the atmosphere pressure has caused this effect. He rejects all those theories.
Either they got the name wrong.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's the same. Okay, wait. I'm looking at his logo. It's the same thing. Yeah, he's a small channel. He's got nearly 200,000 subs.
Oh, okay. Just 200,000?
But yeah, it seems to be more of a spiritual channel than anything. I still haven't seen anything about the moon yet. I'm going back 3 years.
Okay. Well, he was contacted by Russian scientists who support his theory.
Wait.
Why wouldn't you still be talking about it? Here, right here. I got one right here. Let's go to YouTube and see what it looks like. Hold on. So it's from September 14th, 2015.
Okay, yep. I'm back 4 years and I still haven't seen anything about the moon yet.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Space images and how to fake them. Not how to take them apart. Oh, okay.
That's crazy. But how does he prove it's... That's my question.
Oh, science.
Science.
Okay, it looked like his channel started out a little bit more, not conspiracy sort of stuff, but, yeah. It's hard to tell.
There is no lunar eclipse. So on the 20, he could tell September 2020, 23rd was this wave thing he talked about. Weird. I'm going to have to check this guy out. Pretty interesting crap, man. Hey, it's fun.
Yeah, it is. So, I think
All right.
that's the main point. It's a reason to get together with your friends and talk about something interesting.
Right. I
Keeps
enjoy
the
it.
mind active.
I enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy it. I think I saw a bunch of Ys before earlier. Yeah, we saw a good amount of Ys. We have had over 50 likes. Bunch of you guys watching for the whole thing. Thank you to you guys. I really appreciate it. I enjoy doing this. I don't know what to do next week, so maybe I'll put a question on Twitter. What should we cover in the next Aluminum Spork? And feel free at SporkingP, or what is my handle? At Sporking.
Spork NP?
No, at Sporking, the letter P.
Sporking P.
Yeah. Follow me there and let us know if what you want to do. Lizard people, the Clintons. He's coming on next week. Enter the Unfamiliar. I totally blanked. Yeah. So I'll talk to him and see what he wants to cover. So yeah, Final Death Star, who hasn't been doing a lot in the last 6 months, said he will come on our show next week. He is our guest. Thank you for reminding me. It's awesome.
My man.
My man. Thank you, Mr. Grant Gregory, for being here.
Not a problem. I love these little ones. They're I find there's a lot more that we can talk about without feeling a bit weird. It's not every day we could say, "Do you think the moon is cheese?" on
Right.
stream without it coming across like, "Oh, where's the exit button for this lunatic?"
Well,
you know?
we're all part of. Aluminum Spork.
And that is a sporking fact.
Sporking fact. We got to make something with that. All right, guys. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you to my channel members. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe if you're new. Share it out, though. Share it. Somehow this channel has to take off someday. I really appreciate everybody being here. Make sure you guys tune in Wednesday for the Mad Dump with Mad Mardigan and friends. And then, yeah, and then please make sure Saturday night we have a great panel as usual and maybe a guest. You never know. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Mr. Grant Gregory. Good night, everybody.